Welcome back to The Big Picture. We're talking about sleep, that great thing that energizes you so much during the day when you're awake. And if you're not sleeping well, you know what I'm talking about, because you need the energy during the day in order to be effective. And my guest is George Costello, who owns Xtreme Discount Mattress. And although it's not a commercial, we are going to talk about some of the things that you sell and some of the things that I've experienced. And one of the things that I've experienced is the technology, if you will, that has come along, and what used to be just like in a hospital, but now is available to anybody, and it's the adjustable bed.
Well, you know, in this case, I can't agree with you more. And your analogy to the hospital bed is a perfect one, because that's what the whole thing was based on. But these are not your grandfather's adjustable bed that look like a hospital bed. These adjustable bed bases can be used with a variety of different mattresses. As a matter of fact, almost all mattresses today are being structured to be used with, in conjunction with, an adjustable bed base. But it fits within any existing bed structure: headboard, footboard, rails, headboard alone, frame alone, no bed at all. They can be used on their own. And they are, in my opinion, and it's not a mattress, it's what holds the mattress, is the greatest advancement in sleep comfort to come along in my lifetime.
Now, you know, I had problems sleeping, just quite honestly. I had acid reflux, and, you know, my doctor had recommended that I just basically raise the head of the bed, you know, with 2x4s or something, you know, just to kind of, you know, elevate my sleeping position. I got an adjustable bed, and almost instantly, all my problems were done. They were gone.
Again, you know, we can't promise a cure, but in this case, because again, you brought up the fact of the doctor, they recommend it to everybody with acid reflux. I think it's about a 30-degree angle they want you on. The adjustable bed enables you to do this. You can set it in between any position you want, but the leg articulation, being able to raise the legs, I got a call from my attorney's paralegal who bought one for her husband who had just had surgery. And she said, my God, I had no idea how beneficial it would be for me on my feet all day long to be able to raise and elevate her legs at night. I didn't realize it until I brought one home. My wife, dear staunch Italian lady that she is, fought me tooth and nail until the first night she slept in it, and now she wouldn't part with it.
It's amazing, you know. It's different, and you know, there's a kind of a resistance to change, depending on, you know, where you're coming from. There's a slight expense involved because it's different, you know. And if you've got a bed and you've got a frame, sometimes you think, well, you know, why change? You know, but I got to tell you,
I don't think people understand what a difference it makes. There is a caution, and again, because I always tell it like it is, everybody's selling adjustable beds today, and in almost every ad you see now by the big guys, it's with this mattress or with select mattresses, you get a free adjustable bed base. Well, you and I both know there is nothing in life that's free, okay? And what they're doing is they're pairing it up with a flimsy, no lift capacity whatsoever, and I'll talk about lift capacity in a minute, head up only, okay? And the whole point is that they can tell you get the free adjustable bed base, but then, oh, if you want a real one, it's right over here for $1,000 more. I was on the phone with a dear friend of mine who lives in Florida, and he's looking for an adjustable bed base, okay? I know I'm gonna end up shipping him one down, all right? I know that's why he called. But he went to, I'm not gonna mention the name of the big box store because they were giving free adjustable bases. And they said, yep, the base is free. He's in a king size bed, but you have to buy the mattress, of course. And he said, sure, yeah, show me the mattress. Even though he just got one from me, he wanted to see this free adjustable bed. How much is the mattress? $5,000.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you have to be very,
You get a
very
cosigner
careful.
for that, right?
Yes. The bottom line is, like everything else, I don't care who's advertising it or who's selling it, whether it's on the internet or whether it's locally. We're going to be 1/3 to 1/2 the gimmick price.
You know, well, let's talk about that because, you know, in just about every business you can think of, you know, jewelry, clothes, and furniture, you know, there are different prices when you walk into different stores. Now, some of the time it's because the quality is different. Some of the time you can go in and you can see the exact same thing in 2 different stores and the prices are still radically different.
Yes.
Now, we all know, and certainly if you're a business person out there and you're watching, you know that if you have a fancy display room and a lot of overhead, a lot of employees, that adds to the cost. Your overhead is part of your cost.
Well, the biggest part of it, one of the biggest parts of it is economics 101, okay? When you drive down the street and you see the opulent mattress showroom and other things involved that you can spot a mile away, you know that the price is going to be sky high. Our stores are well lit, spacious, but not fancy, okay? There's no decor, there's nothing. We sell beds. That's part of the economics, and everything else is being very stringent and being very careful with the dollar that you spend, just like the customer. That's why they relate to us, because we run our business that way. We simply work on lower profit margins. It sounds simple, but everything else has to be in line, or it doesn't work, you go broke. So these stores, with their high rents, their high decor, they're dealing in many cases brands that control them. I'll give you an example. I was watching one of my salespeople work with a customer, and the customer looked like a businessman, mature. He was by himself, and he came in and he asked for a particular brand. And my salesperson very clearly explained that we do the same brand. Our mattresses are made by the biggest mattress makers in the country. Same guys that are making them in many cases for everybody else. And the guy said, yeah, he said, I appreciate that. I'm a businessman, I understand. But he said, you know, I have this brand, I've had it for 15 years and I was happy with it. And I want to stick with it. And my salesperson said, well, if that's the case, I could show you exactly the same technology that they're doing, but I can't do that. Now I could see a look of frustration come over the guy, and he says, look, I called them up, and they told me to come to you. You're the biggest dealer they have in New York State.
Okay.
So I now intervened and I said, they're right. And I apologize. I said, we are. I said, and we ripped the label off so that you don't have to pay for the national advertising, the vendor co-op, the advertising dollars. You have to pay to the vendor first before you pay it to everybody else. I said, so if you want, I'll have them put the label on it for you. It'll cost you $500 more. So that's one of the ways, okay, but there are so many other aspects to it as well. Part of it now is the volume that we do. We sell a twin-size mattress, for example, that to the customer for less money than a dealer can go to the vendor and buy it for.
Well, volume is certainly, you know, one of the
huge part.
Part of the
yes.
equation. The other part of the equation is, and how long have you been in business now?
Well, let's say since I was 16 years old, so we're talking about 50 years here.
Well, it's certainly, you've been in business long enough that if you were not there to serve the customer, it would have gotten around and you would have had a reputation that nobody would have come back.
That's exactly right.
And, you know, Buffalo is, in Western New York, they're bargain hunters, but they also don't want to get screwed by, you know, anybody. So word gets around if you displease enough customers.
That's exactly right.
So we had this discussion before we went on, and I asked about the TV advertising because you're on probably as much, if not more, than any other advertiser. And you said yourself, the advertising is part of it. That gets the word out. But it really, after a couple of months, if you're not doing your job, that advertising isn't really going to do any good because people...
They find out.
They find out. They do their research, especially in Buffalo. The consumer in Buffalo is not dumb. They're looking for the biggest, best deal they can get. The value. Value is key.
We had a competitor try to rip off my slogan. Okay, the imagination, zero. Okay, but we sell mattresses for less, a lot less. I wrote that in the first ad we ever did. I wasn't in the ad, and I responded by pointing out that a slogan, like anything else, is a collection of empty words unless you back it up. Okay, we do. They didn't. They're not using the slogan anymore. So. Exactly. You could spend a fortune. A lot of businesses go under very quickly because they spend a lot of money on advertising, but they don't say anything, okay? Or it's the same as everybody else. So, again, we came into this market, there was a mattress store on every corner. A lot of them are gone now. It's not because of me, okay? We have the largest share. But at the same time, the internet has decimated these guys. And in the face of the growth of the internet and the failure of brick and mortar, our sales have gone through the roof. We must be doing something right.
Well, on that note, we're going to, wrap it up. This is, as usual, it goes really quickly on this show because we don't have that much time. But it's been a good discussion. If you have any problems sleeping, this is one of the things you might want to consider. This has not been an ad or an infomercial. But this is a good subject because I know as you get a little bit older, this is a real concern, and there's nothing that can kind of throw a damper on your day like a sleepless night. I mean, really, it just takes the energy out of everything that you do. So I want to thank George Costello for being my guest on today's Big Picture, and make your own decision. Do your research. It's something that's very important because you spend a lot of time in bed, and it's very important to your health. Anyway, thank you for watching The Big Picture. Thank you for watching, as always, WBBZ-TV, and we'll see you next time.